This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Lenovo is built for creators who don't wait for inspiration. They chase it. With inventive tech, built-in AI tools, and seamless performance, Lenovo devices powered by Intel Core Ultra processors are designed to bring your wildest ideas to life faster. That's the power of Lenovo with Intel inside. Enjoy flexible financing, rewards on every purchase, and free shipping. And students get special offers when you create an account at Lenovo.com.
Lenovo.
If you eat too many ultra-processed foods, you could be starving your gut microbes, and they'll get hangry. That's one of many things I learned after working on a new audio course about the gut microbiome. You can learn how to keep your gut happy by listening to Try This from the Washington Post. I'm Christina Quinn. I host Try This. Dig in with me on practical advice for life's common challenges. Follow Try This right now wherever you're listening. Seriously, try it.
Minnesota, comedian Jordan Klepper is bringing his laughs to the Fillmore to 7:14 with the Suffering Fools Tour, one night only.
Oh, what a fool.
High energy B laughs, no filter. Tickets available now for the Adden Matinee Show. All details, KFAN.com, keyword calendar.
Oh, man. Can we go to break right now? I don't know if I can continue. My side hurts so much. Hey, this is called Live from Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center, home of the soon-to-be Big Game World Champion Minnesota Vikings. Our training camp coverage 2025 continues here in the Fan. I'm Common. He's Tennessee. Mark Rosen. There was an album by Edgar Winter, Edgar Winter. That was entitled, one of my favorite albums of all time. It had a song on it called Frankenstein that went to #1, also a song called Free Ride. And the name of the album was They Only Come Out at Night. And then I look over to my right, and I guess they even come out in the daytime. Look at him. There he is.
There he is.
There he is. I don't think he's ever been out. Look at his legs. They're just bright white. Have you ever had shorts on in the sun before? My God, his legs are just bright white. They're blinding me. Oh, my gosh.
Look at Louie.
You're getting ripped. Look at Louie.
Oh, he's wide awake.
Meat sauce. Lou sauce. Look at Lou sauce.
Lou sauce is ready to roll.
Look at, here he is. Here's what can I say something? I was never as caught off guard. I think it was the biggest announcement in the history of announcements at the Fan when they said the power trip is going to Las Vegas. I couldn't believe it.
What's your announcement? Can't say?
No, can't say.
Are you going to Hutch?
I got a big announcement. Just say I got a big announcement coming up.
Is it over?
No, matter of fact, it's never been better.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it's never been better.
Yeah. Did you know we're going to Vegas?
That's what I was. Here was the question I asked. What was a more underwhelming? Because remember, it was like, stay tuned for the announcement of the greatest concert in Minnesota history. Like, who could it possibly be? Paul McCartney. Now, Meatsauce and the Wailers would have been bigger. Then you guys come on, greatest announcement in power trip history. I'm like, what could it possibly be? I thought maybe you were getting a frontal lobotomy. After all these years, they were going to get to the bottom of it. Instead, you're going to you've only gone to Las Vegas like 13, 14 years in a row. How could that be that big of an announcement?
I think it's a huge announcement. I didn't know. I guess we're going. I can't wait. Yeah. It's going to be great.
It will be great.
Yeah.
Tennessee and I are going to the state fair, and that's about it. But that's okay. I don't travel well anyways. I'm kind of a homebody now.
Are you winging it?
No. Well, yeah. And plus, I don't have one. I just read. Do you guys have that driver's license with real ID?
Real ID, no.
No, I'm still waiting on it. I got it in late.
Well, see, I haven't got it at all, and I read today is basically I can't even leave the 7-county metro if I don't have it.
Well, you can have a passport.
My passport expired years ago. I'm not like you. I'm not a world traveler like you.
Well, it's just being a normal citizen.
What do you mean normal citizen?
People normally have passports, and they when they get to the point where they're getting expired, they get it renewed. You're making it sound like it's some
Did you
new
just hear what
function.
He just said? Most people have.
They do. Yes, most people have a passport for identification or travel, whatever it might be.
Yeah, Louis has one.
Do you know, Mark, that most people don't make the kind of money where they need a passport to travel?
What does that have to do
Well,
with
we're going inside.
Well, they can't.
It's for ID, especially with the real ID. If you don't, I don't have my real ID yet, and I have an ID that's technically expired.
Everybody's got a passport.
Not everybody.
You basically said everybody.
It's available to everybody.
You said most people, which means everybody. When you say most people, so you think 9 out of 10 people have a passport?
I didn't say 9 out of 10.
I would say 1 out of 10 people have a passport.
Oh, no, there's no way. No.
It's more than that, but
It's
Not
more than
much
that.
more, though.
You don't have to travel to
I'd say
Zambia to get a,
3-4 out of 10.
You go to Canada, you need a passport if you don't have an ID. You go to Mexico. You're making it sound like it's some sort of exotic, rich thing that has to happen.
It's a Mark Rosen.
My God. You are so out of touch with reality. Oh, getting a passport.
You have to
Such
remember-
a novel thing to do. Well, you don't have a passport or an ID.
We'll just have to leave it. That might be the most preposterous thing you've ever said.
Okay.
Everybody's got a passport.
I never said that. I said most people.
Most people.
A lot of people have passports. My daughter has a passport. Anywhere you need one, especially if you go to the airport, you can go anywhere now. You can't.
I think most affluent people have.
That's it.
passports.
Well, no, it's true. Most affluent people have a passport because most people don't.
I don't know what. Most people.
You live in a different world. Most people don't have the wherewithal and the means.
Get a passport?
Well, you only get it if you're traveling out of the country. You don't get it for ID. You have a driver's license for it. No one's got it.
But now you don't have either.
Well, that's not the discussion. The discussion is you said most people have a passport.
You had one too.
Because I did travel out of the country on a trip with the radio
He's affluent.
station.
Right.
And I'm affluent. I got mine. I'm affluent. And when I got mine, it was for the radio station trip to Scotland.
Okay. But now you don't. Now you let it expire. So now you're out without either one. Okay. Anyway, whatever.
I've never heard anything as preposterous.
I didn't have one for half my life.
Yeah, well, of course not, because you weren't affluent enough. Now, when your wife are making enough money, you can go take a trip.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're going to Kirks and Caicos or Kirks and Taicos every other month,
discussion is beyond absurd.
Of course you need a passport.
Yeah, this discussion.
What's the name of that place?
I had one in my 20s.
Kirks and Taicos.
Kirks and Taicos. And
I got a passport in my 20s when I didn't have any money at all. I got a passport just because I went back and looked at it.
Well, you probably had a job. You had to go to international, though.
No, well, I did.
You're right out of the minors. You had a job.
Well,
I did. I went to London to cover the Vikings' first game in 1982.
You don't have to be affluent to get a passport, but you only get one to use it.
I got it.
No reason.
I got it for work purposes too, because WCCO TV sent me to London to cover the Vikings against the then St. Louis Cardinals in London. I needed a passport.
And KFAN sent me to Scotland, so I needed a passport. You were about to say, Tanner?
I had someone text me. According to Google, between 45 to 50% have passports.
There you go. That's a pretty high percentage. Half the people have a passport.
40 to 50, and that's not most people.
Well, that's
half.
Well, that's a pretty good percentage. You're making it sound like there's just like
I think it's
the
less.
top 1%.
I think it's less.
That's a bleeping passport.
I think it's less.
I wouldn't be, it's fine you don't have one, but no wonder you don't get sent on any trips. You can't leave the country. You're a hostage here. You can't even go to Canada.
God, it must be nice to live your life.
My life, says the guy who plays golf every day.
Well, I'm the unofficial ambassador of Minnesota Golf. I have to play golf every day.
You have to play.
It's available to you. You had a membership at Golden Valley, and then you gave it up.
Let's move on. It's just I get a Carlos Correa migraine talking to you.
Here's the deal. I'm the only person that has to put up with you every day except your wife. Because at 3 hours a day, I have to be. Tennessee can just check out. And Willow.
Willow loves me, though.
But you and I have to. We're attached at the hip. That's an hour more than anybody else.
I'm guessing the feeling's mutual for Rosey.
You have no idea. What were we talking about? I thought you were talking about Johan Duran.
I'm a treat to work with.
Yeah, you sure are.
Ask Tennessee.
I've asked your sons about that. Yeah.
Well, they don't work with me. They live with me.
Well, I know. Same.
Trust me, they like me. You know how they spell my name? You know how they spell Dad?
ATM.
ATM. They like me very much. A senior VP of business development, whose name will be remain. What's the word I'm looking for? Will remain anonymous.
Right.
Says, Dan, can you help me understand why Minnesota's so in love with KOC, including Tenna? He's not won one playoff game. Tenna would take Kevin O'Connell over Nick Sirianni, the Eagles, a Super Bowl winning coach? Head scratcher. We were talking about, I asked him, would you have Dan, if you were general manager, and you became the general manager of the New Orleans Saints, one of the terrible teams, and you had an opportunity to hire Kevin O'Connell or Dan Campbell? He immediately said Kevin O'Connell. Then he wanted to say, certainly top 5 coach, and he was willing to have him over a Super Bowl winning coach, including Nick Sirianni.
Let's talk about it after the break.
Oh, do we have to break already?
We just went through the music bed there.
Okay, let's go ahead. I can't hear. I'm not getting the station loud enough. Then which one am I?
Are you this one? You hit the return a little bit?
Yeah.
Can you hear it now?
That's better. Now I can hear it. So let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll let you mull that over.
I've mulled it.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get you to mull it over. We'll talk about that when we come back. And we'll talk as Twins trade deadline right around the corner. A lot of rumors going. Jimmy Bowden says that there are several teams that have the Twins on speed dial, and they are getting all sorts of offers for not just Duran and Correa, but many other players as well. We'll dive into that on the other side of the break as well. It's live from TCO Performance Center right here on the Fan.
Are you shopping for a new laptop while still trying to keep up with technology and AI? Talk about feeling burnt out. But no more. Lenovo.com makes it easier than ever to find the perfect PC. In fact, we'll break it down for you. Step 1. Shop our lineup of AI PCs powered by Intel Core Ultra processors. Because why deal with downloading new software when you can buy a smarter PC that already comes with all of the AI features and tools? Step 2. Find the one that fits your passion. Whether you're a creative genius, a research scientist, a hardcore gamer, or a future CEO, no dream is too big. That's the power of Lenovo with Intel inside. You can keep up with your ideas as well as any challenges you may face. Step 3. Add to cart and purchase. Oh, if you're a college student or a teacher, make an education account through us and get 5% off your whole order. Shop now at Lenovo.com. A better future is waiting, and it needs you.
If you eat too many ultra-processed foods, you could be starving your gut microbes, and they'll get hangry. That's one of many things I learned after working on a new audio course about the gut microbiome. You can learn how to keep your gut happy by listening to Try This from the Washington Post. I'm Christina Quinn. I host Try This. Dig in with me on practical advice for life's common challenges. Follow Try This right now wherever you're listening. Seriously, try it.
Again.
We're cooking up something special, but we can't tell you just yet. Tune into the Common Man program Friday at noon for something very special. Common Man program Friday at noon for the big announcement.
Streets of Minneapolis in anonymity. You do not. That's true. Everybody knows your name.
Yeah, that's true.
You are the most recognizable face in the Twin Cities without question. Tenemy, what do you think? Most recognizable?
I've been on the air.
Broadcasting media, yeah.
Broadcasting media, there's no question about
like
it.
Jefferson's going to get more.
Yeah, you're the legendary Mark Rosen.
All right, let's move on.
You know what I'm going to start?
You said that last segment, and then you kept going in the break.
You know what I'm going to call him?
Well, that was different.
He's the globe trotting.
The
globe-trotting Mark Rosen.
Internationally renowned.
You're general manager of the New Orleans Saints. Nick Sirianni's available, and Kevin O'Connell's available. Who do you hire?
Well, I know you're going to go with the guy who won the Super Bowl, and there's nothing wrong with saying that. Yeah. Much the way we just discussed J.J. McCarthy and what, in my mind, what he represents, since the Vikings have had such a dearth of franchise quarterbacks. I think you look at McCarthy and no one can project his upside completely for the next 10 years. I think, Kevin O'Connell, after being named Coach of the Year last year, Sirianni's a terrific coach. The results are the results. But if you're going to ask me at his age and where he's at and what it's like, I don't know. There's probably not a lot to choose from with those two, but, I think Kevin O'Connell is just kind of getting his feet wet in this business. So, I mean, I wouldn't have any problem. I know it sounds like a homer.
It does. Well,
but that's okay.
Coach of the year, Super Bowl winning coach.
Yeah. Well, that's I mean, but you have to. You have to. Yeah. But will he get another shot at it? Well, is it because the GM put together? They got a wonderful GM put together one hell of a football team, and I think for the first time, I think Kevin O'Connell should and will be judged postseason success and how this team does, not with a 13-4 record or whatever it is, winning a playoff game, winning 2 playoff games, moving the needle. I saw Dan Orlovsky. You guys were talking about it earlier. The Vikings. What do you say? If McCarthy's just Midland,
he's average.
They should be in the NFC Championship game. Well, that's a bold prediction from a national guy. But I think it's imperative that O'Connell finds a way. I think he was burnt. I mean, he got burned in that playoff.
Do you
game.
think he might mean that if he's just Trent Dilfer-like, the Vikings are that good?
No. He's got to be a lot better than Trent Dilfer.
Yeah, well, Dilfer was Midland, wasn't he? Or was he a little worse?
I think he was below Midland.
Okay. Yeah, that was. There's always an exception to the rule. There's always going to be a couple quarterbacks out there that go against the grain. But for the most part, you look at the Super Bowl winning quarterback teams. They have a quarterback that is, arguably a top 10.
If we get the equivalent of the Ravens defense out of our defense,
that would be the case.
Then we're going to win the big game.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the one blot on the resume. He's had 2 terrific seasons, 14-3. 2 years? In the first year, the second year, 7-9 wasn't good. He's helped develop Sam Darnold. Sometimes I think he gets a bit too much credit. I think some of it should also go to the quarterbacks coach, Josh McCown, who we had on the air the other day. Also, Sam Darnold spent a year in the San Francisco 49ers organization and watched them get to a big game. But he's got the resume, but the one thing is he's 0-2 in postseason play.
Right.
That's the
thing. Well, that's and ultimately that's how you get gauged. It's like why some of the Viking players in their history aren't in the Pro Football Hall of Fame because they lost 4 Super Bowls.
Correct.
They got that far. I know this is speaking even looking over my left shoulder here to Tenna, who never saw the Vikings play in a Super Bowl, but it's hard to imagine because the game itself wasn't that big. But until you get there, they've had 3 really good chances and obviously haven't pushed the needle over, and that's where this team is at right now. Doesn't have to happen this year, but the Wilf family is here today. The ownership is meeting today. They're having budget meetings. They're having this meeting. They're meeting with the coaches. They'll be out on the field here shortly as the players are starting to come out for practice. The stands are filling up. But the Wilfs have been in the business, what would you guys say, 20? Is it 20 years?
20 years.
They're not in it to, make real estate deals. They've done a wonderful job out here at TCO Performance Center. They've expanded. They got hotels. They got curling rinks. They got all this other stuff.
Passports.
Trust
me,
they got their own private plane. They don't have to worry about passports.
I guess you're right.
But you talk to Mark Wilf any time, and it's got one singular goal. That's to win a championship. I know it's easier said than done, but the business side of football, many owners have gotten into it. For financial reasons, obviously the value of their team has skyrocketed with the TV contracts. So have the Wilfs. We know that, but at the same time, I know that they desperately would trade all that to get their hands on the Lombardi Trophy.
It's kind of a light breeze out here today.
There's Bobby.
You're the only microphone that, for some reason, doesn't have a windscreen. You think that's where most of the wind is coming from?
I was just thinking about that.
Yeah, I don't have a windscreen. Sorry about that.
That's not your fault. Yeah. I thought you were apologizing to us. Yeah, we don't know.
No, I don't.
We'll look through the equipment bag and see if one is falling out.
Yeah, it seems a little windy in my ears.
Yeah, it's windy. Trust me. This is the kind of day out on the golf course.
Here, try this.
Oh, there you go.
It's going to make a lot of noise when you put it on, but
there's the idea that it's so windy if you're on a golf course and you hit a slice, it'll turn into a draw by the time it ends. Yeah, that helps.
That helped a lot.
I was going to say it didn't help a whole lot.
I was hoping it would.
Maybe it doesn't sound quite as bad in my ears.
Well, it does. That did it a little bit.
Thanks, Tenna.
Yeah. That's, a broadcast engineer that I am. And Tennaby's a master control supervisor. We understand these kinds of things. It's sort of Cal Cupper light.
High level.
Out.
Right.
And then out. So they're doing another padded practice today.
Yes, full pads.
I read the piece the other day at the Fish Wrap Factory West Side where they decided to run a pretty aggressive defense, not physically aggressive where they're smacking, but they really wanted to give J.J. McCarthy, I think, a lot of different looks. I think some of it was just for the defense to do their thing, but I also think it was we're trying to speed up the learning curve a little bit for J.J. McCarthy, right? You want him to see a lot of different looks, so when he gets into that first regular season game on Thursday night against the Bears, or in ensuing games, you don't want him to go off the scratch and say, boy, I've not seen this before. So that's what they did. I think we'll see a lot of that here in the next few practices, including today's as well. Let's take our final break. We're going to do some Twins talk. Their name, the Twins seem to have a handful of players that there are teams that are in the playoff chase in both the American and National League. They seem to covet. We'll talk about those players.
Man,
and
are they waving the white flag today?
The trade possibilities.
Sure.
On the other side of the break, this is the Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center continuing coverage of Training Camp 25, right here on the Fan.
Unlock smarter learning with Lenovo AI-powered PCs powered by Intel Core Ultra processors. Head to Lenovo.com and choose from multiple devices to fit your passions. If you're a gamer, you can spend less time stressing about GPUs and CPUs and more time dominating with your AI-enabled Smart Engine, which optimizes your game performance in real time. Or maybe you're a scientist on the verge of a groundbreaking discovery and need a device with a longer battery life and AI-enhanced tools to give you extra time to finish your research. Or you're a musician preparing for your biggest break and need better, faster AI tools to make digital art a breeze, like creating band posters and t-shirt designs. Or you're a soon-to-be graduate needing to catch a recruiter's eye to land that dream job, so you need cutting-edge smart tools to build your portfolio from scratch. That's the power of Lenovo with Intel inside. Plus, college students and teachers get 5% off with an education account on Lenovo.com. A better future is waiting, and it needs you.
If you eat too many ultra-processed foods, you could be starving your gut microbes, and they'll get hangry. That's one of many things I learned after working on a new audio course about the gut microbiome. You can learn how to keep your gut happy by listening to Try This from The Washington Post. I'm Christina Quinn. I host Try This. Dig in with me on practical advice for life's common challenges. Follow Try This right now wherever you're listening. Seriously, try it.
Performance Center, the New Winter Park, continuing coverage live from TCO Performance Center, continuing coverage of the Vikings Training Camp 2025, and everything must go. They're clearing out the goose that laid the golden eggs. Starters, relievers, middle relief, closers, everyday players, utility players, they're all for sale right now.
You sound like one of those state fair barkers out there. That's kind of where we're at right now.
So many rumors going on. The Twins started the trade earlier in this week when they traded to the Detroit Tigers. They traded Chris Paddock and Randy Dobnak for the Tigers' 19th rated prospect, a young catcher, 19-year-old kid. And now there's all sorts of rumors going around. Earlier today was Carlos Correa may go to the Houston Astros. He has a no-trade clause in his contract. That was the one team he said that he would be willing to be traded for. Now I see Jimmy Bowden, former GM, insider for all sorts of different outlets. He writes, Red Sox, Yankees, Jays, Phils, and Mariners are speed dialing the Twins at an annoying level with continued interest in Joe Ryan. Basically, their entire bullpen, Willie Castro and Harrison Bader. Twins could end up being the headliner at the deadline as talks heat up, according to several sources. And as Tenneby mentioned, in the ninth inning today, Willie Castro taken out of the game. Correa was out because of a migraine allegedly. You pull players out of games if they're going to be, if there's a possibility to be traded so they don't get hurt. Tenneby, you got more?
I was going to say, Willie Castro was pulled in the ninth, and also Bob Nightingale tweeted, the Minnesota Twins are expected to trade closer. Do we know how to say his name yet? Joan Duran?
Asked Rose, and he knows.
Yeah, Joan. just pronounce it 3 or 4 different ways.
That's exactly right.
Expected to trade him by the end of the day with the Los Angeles Dodgers in strong pursuit. The Twins have also been in heavy discussions with the Phillies, but have not lowered their asking price of prize pitching prospect Andrew Painter.
Well, there seems to be a bidding war going on for Duran right now, and the Dodgers are mentioned heavily because they've taken a lot of hits to their starting rotation. I'm just looking up a stat here, and their relief pitchers who are good, but they're getting overworked. Their bullpen leads the majors with 465 innings pitched, a staggering 37 more innings than any other team, and reinforcements will be necessary at the deadline. So if it's the Phillies, the Yankees, the Dodgers, this is the kind of thing you want if you're the Twins, to get the highest possible return.
But if you are a Twins fan, you might be a little disillusioned because you realize the team is probably not going to make any progress this season. They're admitting it themselves by they're in fire sale mode. But then if you trade too many valuable pieces, what does that leave for next year? For instance, Tenneby and we had a heated discussion, a very spirited discussion about the closer Duran. Tenneby says, yeah, I don't mind trading guys and getting pieces, but you got to keep some of your nucleus. It's hard to find really great closers. He's been a dominant closer. He's been a top 5 closer, maybe even a top 3 over the past few years. If you trade him now, my argument to that was, well, you don't have any games to close now, but like Tenneby says, you will in 26 and 27, hopefully. So you can make arguments for both. I think with Duran, the thing is the asking price would be, to me, and I'm not going to know any of the names they get. I'm not going to know if this guy's, a number 1 prospect, number 2. But if you can get a nice enough ransom for him, I'm not opposed to trading pretty much anybody on the team. I guess I don't think I'd trade Joe Ryan or Lopez, and I don't think I would even, at this point, I wouldn't trade Royce Lewis because, now that he's healthy again, you're seeing what he can do. Buxton, he likes it here. He's on the cheap. He's having a good year and staying healthy. There's a handful of players. I don't think I would trade Brooks Lee. I don't think there's any interest. I haven't heard anything. But it's a fine line between how far do you tear it down.
Well, and what you get in return. That's the point. Griffin Jacks is, if Duran goes, depending on what they get in return from the Dodgers, Phillies, whomever, they very well might get the top prospect who could fill that role. Duran's 27, I think, right now. They got Griffin Jacks, you got Stewart, that they could potentially fill that role. Right now, the Twins they need talent, an infusion of talent. Period. I do not think Joe Ryan will get traded. He's on a really team-friendly deal right now. It'd be crazy to trade him. I think the Correa thing, according to some national sources, might be breaking down right now as far as that thing working out. But, we got till tomorrow to see how that works. If Houston is that adamant about trying to get him, maybe they'll make it worth the Twins' while. But it's, you went from, it's discouraging. Obviously, they've thrown in the white towel, and they need to. They don't need to try to pretend like anything's going to happen this year. They got hammered again today. They're getting hammered by the Red Sox in embarrassing fashion at Target Field. And so Duran's the guy to watch. I think all these national reports are true. And Twins management's going to go, well, let's see, what do you want? Pick up the phone. It's sort of like a Moneyball type of thing where you pick up the phone and say, okay, this is what the Dodgers are offering. All right, Phillies, you're on the clock. What do you want? What do you got for us?
Here's what I'm reading. It says that Duran signed a 1-year, $4.125 million deal in the offseason, which is dirt cheap for a closer that good. But it does say he signed that in order to avoid arbitration. He's eligible for arbitration again after this upcoming season. So the Twins still have some control. He's not a free agent.
He's under team control.
So, what Tenneby says makes a lot of sense. If you feel like you're going to be ready to play, for next year, then you are going to need a closer. I'm just not sure this team, and we've talked about this over and over again, I don't know how serious the Pohleds really are about even caring if they're going to compete, especially when they are trying to sell the team. So do they just strip it down to the brass tacks, save a bunch of money, trade players, and try to get the team sold? We've heard the commissioner himself say he thinks a trade, while a sale might not be imminent, it's certainly, he thinks absolutely positively the Twins will sell, and they'll sell sometime sooner rather than later.
That's what I've heard and continue to hear, that it will happen sooner than later, but we're getting near the end of the season. I don't think it's a matter of just a fire sale. They have to get really quality players in return. And we know the Twins' history with some of this stuff, but I'm glad there'll be a bidding war for at least the top players that they have. The Willie Castros, the Harrison Baders, those guys are, I hate to say it, they're kind of a dime a dozen. And you're not going to get a whole heck of a lot in return for them. At the same time, why hold on to them if they're not going to move the needle with those guys on this roster? Obviously, getting Pablo back and getting Bailey Ober back, whatever he has in the tank for the rest of this season, and looking at the minor leagues, Walker Jenkins is still a couple of years away, probably. He's seemingly been hurt quite a bit. He's their top hitting prospect. So, it's not a good time over there. We know that. Let's face it. there's been a lot of apathy from the fan base, and this might perk a little interest on the next 24 hours or less.
Well, and if you do, let's say they decide it is a fire sale where pretty much anybody and everybody is traded, and let's say they lose, let's say they trade half a dozen players. It doesn't bode well for next year because, now you're talking about, think about it. A year ago, I was talking about this with Tennessee, maybe you were listening. A year ago at this time, we were talking about, man, we got a great record. We looked like we were destined to win the division. We were going to be a playoff team again for the second year in a row. Maybe we could go deeper. We went into that horrible slump. Joe Ryan got hurt. We lost. We won 12 and 27, I think. And since then, other than the 13-game winning streak, there hasn't been there. So we go from a team with high hopes where you got a nice nucleus, a good starting staff, bullpen, and everyday players, to now we're talking about selling everybody. And if they sell too many players, then you are talking about a complete rebuild. And how long does that take? That takes forever.
Yeah, it's not an encouraging thing because let's face it, the players that the Twins, if they trade Durant, unless you're a real, a John Bonus type, you're not going to know anything about the guy they got or guys they got in return. Correct. You're going to read their stats like when they draft the player, number 1 draft pick for the Twins, whatever position they're in. It's not like football or basketball or even hockey. Maybe hockey's a little different because most of the time you don't know who those guys are. Yeah. But you're not going to go, oh my God, we got that guy in the draft or trade. No,
I've programmed a lot of radio stations in my life, and I mentioned this at the beginning of the show. The program director decides where the broadcast will be, where Live From will be, and he decided training camp today, and I understand that because we're tied in with the Vikings. All I know is there's a game tonight.
Big one. Over
at the Bullseye between the Lynx and the Liberty, two teams that don't like each other very much. If I was making the call, we would be at Target Center right now.
Yeah.
But the program director, he made his decision.
Yeah, we got to live with it.
How big do you think that game is tonight, and will you be there? Oh, that's right, you're not
I'm not going to be there, but there will be bigger ones against this team, and they have a bunch of them left against the Liberty, and we know that they're on a collision course, we hope, to have a rematch for the finals. I believe you guys were talking about earlier. Correct me if I'm wrong, and I've been wrong. Is it a best of 7 this year?
No, I think
expand it.
Did they expand it? I know.
I don't know.
It's been
I'm
a best
asking
of
the
5.
question.
I don't know.
Best of 5, but I don't know. But anyway,
Tenneby is our WNBA expert. He's the guy that he's really locked in on that. Tenneby, do you have any idea? Are we going to 7 now, or is it staying at the best of 5?
I don't know if they changed the rules, but last year was 5.
Yeah, it was 5. But Cheryl Reeve has been saying all the right things. She's going to have them fired up tonight. The Lynx have just lost the 1 game at home this year. And I think they're like 7-point favorites tonight. So it's not good. It's not the championship. It's not the same feeling. But I'm sure they'll have a huge crowd there tonight, and people will be fired up to face that team. Believe it or not, it's the first time they're playing them all year.
I just asked Grok AI.
Yeah.
The WNBA Finals until the end of the 2024 season have been a best-of-5 series. However, starting with the 2025 season, the WNBA Finals will transition to a best-of-7. You've got your fingers on the pulse. And, you get criticized for having been retired now that you don't pay as close attention to sports.
Only by you.
How about that? Look at what you did there. You pulled I had no idea.
Major step.
And I've got my fingers on the pulse.
Well, it's a good, and it's money's money, and they want it on television. They want more games. They're following that blueprint, what the NBA has done, and I think that it deserves to have a best of 7 series. And that they'll even add more fuel to the fire if they get the Liberty, and it ends up being a 6-7 game series.
It's going to be a 2-2-1-1-1, which makes sense to me. That's the way it should be. I wouldn't have it any other way if I was putting together.
Well, they're flying charter now. They don't need a passport.
Yeah.
You want to get back into it,
Yeah,
huh?
Why do you have to pick on me like that?
I love you, you know it.
You just always want to pick on me. I don't know why. I leave you alone. I don't do anything. I don't try to do anything to ruffle your feathers.
No, you do not.
It's not the way I operate. I don't do that.
It's good to be out here. The fans are packing the stands.
It's excitement. There's more
building.
This is the most excitement for this team I think I've seen since we won the Minneapolis Miracle. I think there's that kind of excitement with this club.
Yeah, I think there might be even more because Minneapolis Miracle kind of sprung on us unexpectedly. Given it was Case Keenum as a quarterback. So gathering, there's a lot of high-powered people here in this area tonight. Bob Hagan, Chad Abbott. Now McCarthy looks good throwing the ball to the equipment guy.
Throwing
I'm just
18-yard
What are
passes.
you doing?
I'm just skimming the Fish Wrap Factory West story about tonight's matchup between the Lynx and the Liberty. Shell Reeves says, we just didn't look like ourselves in terms of understanding the places that make us great, which is to be physical, be aggressive, play with pace.
And while you're looking that up, one of our top listeners, Tom, sent me a text that said MLB is almost certainly going to lock out next year. Well, that's a possibility.
Yes, that's
all that sport needs.
Put in the salary cap.
Well,
it'd be nice.
And if we talked about this, I think yesterday, 10B or the day before, it was which player was it? Was it Trout? No, who was it that had
yelled at
Bryce Harper?
Bryce Harper, where he basically said, his quote was saying, he used an expletive. He said something like, "If you're here to talk about the salary cap, get the bleep out of here," because the players don't want a salary cap.
Of course they don't,
because it puts a cap on how much money they can make, and I bet some of the owners don't want one either. The owners that are in the bigger markets that do generate more money, they go, we kind of like it. We don't mind. That's okay with us.
Yeah, rich get richer.
Like Tenant B mentioned, he's not the first to say this, but he brought it up, and he's right. If a salary cap floor is also really maybe just as important, because that's where your issues come, where you have the Sacramento A's and some of these other teams where they've just decided they're not going to spend any money whatsoever. They're just not going to spend any money. Their payroll is going to be, because there's no limit to it. So you can sign, if you wanted to, you could put all AAA players out there at the end, and if there is an MLB minimum, and just play them that way. And some teams have chosen to do that.
There's a man walking on the field without a pass. I don't know where. Oh, wait, that's Ziggy Wilf. I see him out there. The slender version.
He has a. That's a passport hanging from his neck. That's what that is.
Well, he doesn't need one. He flies private. But yeah, all the ownership is in town this week, so it's kind of a big deal.
You're kind of excited about that, aren't you? You remember when Ziggy had a choice to go to the New York Giants preseason game or Woodstock, and he chose the Giants preseason game?
That was not the best decision he probably
Well, I think it was.
Maybe he got out of there a lot quicker.
Well, he's a billionaire, so I think he made the right decision. If it would have been me, I would have went to Woodstock, and I may have died of an overdose on the brown ass.
That's probably true.
I think for him, he made the right decision. It's getting feisty out there with the special teams right now. They're doing they're doing some pushing and shoving. That's some real football, Mark Rose, and that's just not going through the motions out there.
Well, and that's an aspect that you guys probably haven't talked. We haven't talked a lot about because there's so many other storylines out here. But special teams. My guy Will Reichert, the kicker from last year. Remember, he got hurt, and that's where he kind of fell off. I think he missed 3 or 4 kicks after that. But he was terrific last year, and Ryan Wright's coming back as a punter, so they pretty much have the same cast of characters. I think they're looking for a new, obviously punt and kick returner. If they allow with rule changes, that we'll see more of that. But yeah, there's some guys under the radar right now that we'll be talking a lot about. I know.
Over on the east-west field, it's the quarterbacks working out. And you look at J.J. McCarthy, number 9, he's been wearing the red jerseys. And if you look at it in this way, that's what he would look like in a Kansas City Chiefs uniform.
Oh, my God.
Well, he would. That's what he'd look like.
You're right.
It's Kansas City. Kansas City red.
With that.
So, the quarterbacks are to the side. Do you think, they'll keep 3, right?
Well,
do you think do you think he has a chance or not a chance?
Practice squad. I mean, that might.
They might not even keep 3. They might do two in a practice squad.
That's probably going to be it. I think that would be the logical move. But as long as he's on the practice squad and he's, by all accounts, they're saying all the right things. We'll see a lot of Max Rosmer in the preseason.
Yeah. Do you have any inside information on that?
No, not yet. I mean, we're just getting early.
Do you have a guess? Do you think Rosmer makes the club, even taxi squad, or not?
I think he's going to be competing for it. Mm-hmm. So we have a month and change here of him in competition. So I think it's a little early to say that now, but.
Well, I would hope so, because sometimes we've seen in the past many teams will have a guy, they have to have a body, so they have a guy, and the guy's really got zero chance. But I think Brosmer, because he played well for the Gophers last year, and the Vikings staff had a close.
I don't know what they really think of Brett Rippon. I mean, Howell's going to be the backup, but I think Brosmer will get plenty of opportunities in the 3 preseason games, as will, of course, the other 2 quarterbacks, Howell and Brett Rippon, to kind of force the hand, at least make it tougher for KOC. Even who bidding and who he's playing with. But that's where you make your judgments too, and they'll have an opportunity to shine and maybe impress them. I mean, honestly, Max Rosenberg to me was, he certainly drastically improved the passing game for the Gophers last year, but nice surprise if the kid can make it and take that next jump to make it to the NFL, even the practice squad.
One other Twins note that we didn't mention is, did Buxton get put on the 10-day?
Yes.
And it was a rib injury. And according to what I read was they're not sure exactly how it happened. They think in the first inning, 2 games ago, he went up against the wall to make a catch, but he didn't come out until 6 innings later. And it was like running is where he aggravated it. Again, with the team where they are, I guess it really doesn't matter.
My guess is he heard it listening to one of our comedy vibes on the fan, and his ribs just started.
I think
a lot of people afflicted with that.
Yeah, there are a lot of people afflicted with it. So, so anyway, and I guess, if we were in the midst of a pennant race, it might be a bigger story, but I guess it really doesn't matter too much
Rocco
because
they may not even put him on it if they were in the middle of a pennant race. He may try to fight.
Okay, let me ask you. All right, let's close with this.
All right.
I'll name the player. You say he's still a Twin. Trade deadline tomorrow.
Okay.
Durant.
Gone.
Correa.
Here.
Bader.
Gone.
Castro.
Gone.
That's about it.
I say Correa gone, by the way.
Correa gone.
Yeah,
you can do one of the relievers, Griffin Jacks.
Yeah. Well, that's what Bowden reported, the former general manager of the Reds, and maybe elsewhere. And he's an insider for a lot of different websites. He said the Twins are getting to the point where the calls are getting annoying. That everybody's calling the Twins, and they're looking at their entire bullpen. It doesn't matter who it is, because the Twins.
I'm saying, like, if you have that many good players, should we really be getting rid of them?
Well, and it's like, what I don't understand is if we have that many good players, why are we 51 and 56 or whatever it is?
Well,
What's wrong with us?
I think there's a handful, maybe more like 2 that they're interested in. I think Duran is the one. Even I think people are inquiring about Griffin Jacks. We've talked about him. I think the Dodgers would be interested in him. He's performed at a high enough level that, especially as I mentioned, the Dodgers have issues because their overworked bullpen is not going to probably get them to where they were a year ago, and that's what they need to improve on. So I would anticipate the Dodgers are going to sweeten the pot, and the Twins are going to have a hard time saying no to Duran.
Vikings have 2 overseas games they're playing back-to-back, right?
Dublin and London. If the fan said that we could go, I can't. I don't have a passport or real ID. The 2 of you get to go because you're both affluent. Yep.
And have passports. The 2 of you can travel wherever. You guys can travel the globe, and I'm stuck here inside of Mobile with the Memphis Blues again.
I feel bad for you.
Yeah, well, you should.
I do.
I'd like to go. I like London. I like Dublin. I like the Vikings.
Maybe you can rush
traveling.
your passport through or something. Try to do that.
Yeah. But you can do an emergency passports. Deuce had his passport stolen when he was over.
What?
Oh yeah, he was over in.
Oh, that's depressing.
He was too trusting. This is when he was over in over across the seas, and he was staying at, what do they call them?
Hostels.
Hostels. He was staying in one of those,
yeah.
And he said somebody stole one right from under him too. He had it back. Anyways,
what did he do?
He had to go to the embassy, and he got an emergency one, and they got it back to him. So good for him. Boy, we had a feisty day.
Fun day today.
That's what we do.
Out there.
Training camp brings the feistiness out of you.
No problem.
We'll see you again tomorrow at 2 o'clock, correct?
Yeah. What is tomorrow?
Tomorrow's Thursday.
I'll be here. So I'm not here, but I'll be here.
Correct. Tenby, thanks for having me.
Hey, great job.
You as well. Brett Blakemore, thanks so much for your work behind the scenes. And JG, who sat in for a couple of seconds. We enjoyed our visit with you today, but stick around. Big Ticket and JG, they're next, right here on the Fan.
Good night. Good night, folks. And good night, Mrs. Calabash. Wherever you are.
Listen back to any of Common Man's programs by podcasting on the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.
In the heat of battle, your squad relies on you. Don't let them down. Unlock elite gaming tech at Lenovo.com. Dominate every match with next-level speed, seamless streaming, and performance that won't quit. And push your gameplay beyond limits with Intel Core Ultra processors. That's the power of Lenovo with Intel Inside. Maximize your edge by shopping at Lenovo.com during their back-to-school sale. That's Lenovo.com.
Lenovo.
If you eat too many ultra-processed foods, you could be starving your gut microbes, and they'll get hangry. That's one of many things I learned after working on a new audio course about the gut microbiome. You can learn how to keep your gut happy by listening to Try This from the Washington Post. I'm Christina Quinn. I host Try This. Dig in with me on practical advice for life's common challenges. Follow Try This right now wherever you're listening. Seriously, try it.